Okay, Chagiga Daf Gimel. So we're continuing to expound upon the 11 milos that we began learning about in the Mishnah on Daf Chav, which are the 11 stringencies that we do when we're handling with Kodesh foods that we don't necessarily do when we're dealing with Truma. So today we're going to talk about the third one, we're going to talk about the sixth one, we're going to talk about the seventh one. So we're not going to cover all of them in the Gemara, just the ones that have what to discuss. The third one is about Hanoseis HaMidras, which means if you are carrying something that's Tamei Midras, something that you stepped on, let's say a Zav, you stepped on something that was Tamei Midras, so now you have a little bit of the Tamei on you. So the Maila is that you are allowed to hold on to Truma if you're carrying something that's Tamei Midras, but you are not allowed to hold on to Kudshim, because that becomes Tamei automatically. So the Gemara opens up by saying, I understand, if it's something that is really you're not supposed to be doing, right? If the Tamei Midras thing is Tamei, then why are you holding Truma on it as well? You shouldn't be able to do anything. So we say no. There's a very specific incident that once happened, where a man was carrying a barrel of Kudshim, and while he was carrying the barrel, the strap of his sandal broke off, which he had used to step on something that was tamei by Zav, and the strap of that barrel somehow, against all odds, ended up falling through the cap of the barrel that he was carrying, and it just made the entire barrel tamei. So because of that small incident, and this also goes according to a Kadri ben Mahalo, who says that if we're ever making a rule based on a specific incident, it has to be the exact scenario of that incident that's usur. So because of that, that's the reason why we're not allowed to bring, why we can't carry Tamei Midras with Kudshim, but not with Truma. The second mile that we talk about is Kelim and Gemara Mitahara, which means if we are creating a Kli, if it was created in a state of purity by Truma, you're allowed to use it. By Kudshim, you have to actually dip it in the mikveh again. So we want to understand, what's the exact case? Meaning, if it was created b'tahara, then why can't you carry it with Kudshim? It's tahar. And if it was not created when it was tahor, then why are you allowed to carry tum also? This is the same theme that permeates a lot of different milos. So we end up saying, no, it's a chaver who created it, meaning someone who's well-versed in halacha. And before he completed it, meaning if it became tamei before he completed it, then it's not tamei. If, let's say, a zav spit on it, because something that's not a kli cannot contract tuma. So rather, a zav spit on it before it was finished, and it was still kind of moist, and then by the time it was finished, then it became tamei. So that's what we're dealing with here. It was still wet. So we want to understand, can we learn from here that tevila so we do learn from here that you can, something like a vessel that's completed, you do need to dip, but harav shemesh, no, you don't need to wait until the next day in order for it to become officially tahor. So then we have this machlokes with Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer, which we learn when talking about a man who created this tube, like a shfoferis, to carry the mechatas. So Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer is machlokes in terms of what you need to do before it's ready to be carrying mechatas. Rabbi Yeshua says you need to basically make it tamei and then dip it. Why make it tamei? Because to combat tzdukim, who would say that you can't, I forgot the pasuk is, but you can't use something the same day. You have to actually make it tamei. You have to wait till the next day. So Rabbi Yeshua says, davka there, you can make it tamei and then make it tahor on the same day to show that you actually, that we don't listen to tzdukim. And Rabbi Eliezer says, no, it's already tahor in this incident, so you just dip it. So basically the rest of the daf, I probably didn't explain that well, but the rest of this section is just reconciling how the Mishnah is the Mishnah according to Rabbi Eliezer. Maybe is there a way that we can maybe reconcile Rabbi Eliezer's din with what we're talking about here? Lastly, we talk about Mila number 7, which is Kli Mitzaref Masha B'Socho, which means that if something, let's say there's a pot filled with let's say, a few different ingredients. With regards to truma, it's they're not mitzaref, meaning if one thing touches something that's tameh, the entire pot is not tameh, just that one thing. When it comes to kachim, the entire pot is tameh. So we want to understand what's the source from that. First, we have a pasuk that says kaf achas asara zahav malakatoris, which says that everything in that kaf is all considered to be together. Kaf achas, achdus. The second thing is a mishnah in Eduyos, in which Rabbi Akiva says, basically he says, I can testify that a mincha, soles, and levona, all these things together are mitzaref. So if they touch something that's kachim, then they all become tameh. So what's the deal? Is it a pasuk or is it the mishnah in Eduyos? So we end up saying, no, you really need both, because if we only had the pasuk, then we wouldn't know. Let's say there's a kli that has no interior, for example, it's just like a leather tray. There's not really an interior there. But according to even Rabbi Akiva, that would still be mitzaref. If you touch something, one of the ingredients on that tray, the entire tray is pasul. And that is Chagiga Daf Recaps Chagiga.